planned strike action. And in sport, the CPL defending champions record a sensational victory against St. Lucia Stars. I'm Nicole Best, and this is the Caribbean in 10 for Friday, August 17. I'll be back with the details after the break. Despite a last-ditch effort by the Guyana government to avert a nationwide strike by teachers, the Guyana Teachers Union says it's going ahead with planned industrial action. After a near 3-hour meeting yesterday afternoon with the Education Minister, GTU President Mark Light said the union was holding firm to its position that teachers would begin striking from August 27th. But he said the ministry and the union have reached agreement on several other issues that were part of the negotiation process. We get the details in this HGP Nightly News report.
The Education Ministry has acceded to many of the proposals submitted by the Guyana Teachers Union, but the parties reached a bottleneck on the major issues of salaries. The union and the Education Ministry met on Thursday in last-ditch talks to avert industrial actions by teachers. This is the Teachers Union's approach to what lies ahead in light of the impasse.
We also rejected the fact that they were not prepared to offer increased incentives for improved qualification. So that remains the same. The union rejects that.
As a government, we have committed and we have demonstrated what it means to improve not only salaries, but working conditions and employment conditions of our workers. My teachers have benefited from a number of measures, not only to increase, because you know that notwithstanding the absence of a multi-year agreement, teachers benefited from increases.
And with 2 weeks to the reopening of school across the country and the commemoration of Education Month, this is what the Education Ministry plans to do in the event the strike eventually takes place.
The standard operational procedure dictates that. And what it says, one, parents have to get involved through PTAs. It talks about the hiring of temporary persons in the classroom to fill those gaps. It talks about based on the number of persons who are on strike and on board, whether you can do half day or whole day or you rotate. There's so many things.
The Chief Executive Officer at Ross University School of Medicine, Lisa Waddell, has defended the tertiary institution's decision to leave Dominica and relocate to Barbados. Addressing a meeting of the Securities and Exchange Commission and their investors on Wall Street, Waddell said the decision to relocate was taken after considerable deliberations, including a review of the university's academic and infrastructural requirements and future plan. The U.S.-owned university was based in Dominica for 40 years, but it temporarily relocated to St. Kitts and the U.S. after Hurricane Maria decimated the country last September. Waddell, who is also president of Adtalem Global Education, said classes would begin in Barbados in January next year, pending final regulatory approval from the U.S. Department of Education. She told the meeting that the university has worked with its creditors and with its credited and regulated and the Barbados government to support academic and business continuity, adding that the new location will include state-of-the-art facility. Waddell said Barbados has a mature healthcare delivery system and a teaching hospital to support students and faculty, and that the island has direct flights from the United States and Canada. The terms of reference for the team being set up to assist the Jamaica government and the board of the state oil refinery Petrojam to determine its strategic direction has been finalized. Prime Minister Holness told a news conference earlier this week that a number of people have already been approached to serve on the commission. The government decided to set up the Petrojam Commission to look at its operations and determine a strategy for the way forward. Petrojam has been caught up in a controversy of corruption allegations since June, when a number of revelations about the company's operations were aired in Parliament.
Sent the TOR to the opposition. I've had their comments and we have considered them. We have spoken to persons who we're inviting to serve on the commission. They have agreed. We still have one or two persons that we're just tidying up details with, and we should have the commission named very shortly.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness was speaking Wednesday during his quarterly press briefing at Jamaica House. In July, Mr. Holness announced that businessman Christopher Zaka would chair the team that would help the state decide its role in Petrojam's future.
Stay with us. Your Midday Sport is next.
Be prepared. Do not go outside barefooted or in slippers after the hurricane.
Now make me survive. All I need is a piece of mind. Me no need for ear piece of your mind.
Control it, down to the ground and then your waist giant it. Roll it, for me love how you are going, you looking it.
Call up your friends and tell them say you love them to the end. Love your mother, love your father.
And I make assumption, fence and borders, man I come from. You know, you make my sky go blue. Tell me I do.
Darren Bravo and Brendan McCullum produced one of the greatest displays of power hitting in the superhero, that's the Hero Caribbean Premier League, to lead the Trinbago Knight Riders to a shocking win over the St. Lucia Stars in Grosvenor last night. Bravo belted an unbeaten 94 from just 36 balls, including 6 boundaries and 10 sixes, and McCullum smashed 68 from 42 balls during a 4th wicket stand of 137 to help the Knight Riders snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. They overhauled the Stars' challenging total of 212 for 2 to reach 218 for 5 in 19.5 overs. Heading into the final 5 overs, they required 85 runs for a seemingly impossible victory. But in the ensuing over, Bravo took his fellow countryman Pollard to the cleaners, smashing him for 5 huge sixes in an over which yielded 32, the most expensive ever in the history of the CPL. The result left fans at the Darren Sammy Stadium in disbelief as their team's losing streak dating back to 2017 increased to 15. Still in cricket, Trinidad and Tobago's quest to do the double got off to the perfect start when they defeated the Leeward Islands by a mammoth 176 runs in the first round of the regional under-19 50-over championship in Kingstown yesterday. Fresh from capturing the 3-day title, TNT produced a solid batting performance on their way to posting the day's highest total of 249 for 7 from their 50 overs. Leonardo Julian top scored with 82 and Joshua James, who stroked an unbeaten 53, were the mainstay of TNT's innings. The Leewards never came close to mounting a serious challenge with Teron Jadu and Justin Gangu running through the middle order. That's Caribbean Newsline. That's Caribbean in 10. Join us at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.